Right. Good evening, everyone. It is now 6:25 where you all are at. It's 5:25 where I'm at. I am out in Orange County right now, calling in for our Municipal Building Authority meeting. It is June 6th, 2023. My understanding is we have all council members present except for Councilwoman Turner, who is excused for the meeting. With that, I will start with the approval of the minutes for the Municipal Building Authority meeting November 15, 2022. Are there any changes to the meeting minutes?
No.
None.
No.
All right, with that, I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve the Municipality Authority meeting minutes for November 15th, 2022.
I'll
Do I have
second.
a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. We will move forward to business item number 1. Consider a resolution adopting the tentative budget of the Municipal Business Authority of Murray City as amended for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024, giving notice and scheduling a public hearing to receive public comment before the final budget is adopted. And we have Ms. Brenda Moore presenting.
So we have 5 minutes. This will be very, very quick. The Municipal Building Authority is basically built the new city hall, and it gets rent from the city, and then it makes the bond payments for to service the bonds. And then the only other thing in this budget is I have right now $100,000 of small equipment and stuff. I believe that will be that's from interest, actually, that the proceeds have made. And then we will roll forward anything next year that we have left in the city hall budget. I think we will have paid most of it by the time June 30th rolls around. And then $2,000 worth of interest, because they do have some money that is earning interest right now and will the first part of the year. So that is the entire budget. So we're here to adopt this in a tentative form and then set the public hearing for June 27th, which is the same night as our next council meeting. Any questions? Nope.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yes, we
I
have.
think we're okay.
Okay.
All right. Doesn't sound like there's any questions, and this is just a business item, so we can move on to a vote. I believe we'll need to vote to adopt or not adopt this, so I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that the City Council adopt a resolution adopting the tentative budget of the Murray Municipal Building Authority as amended for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024, giving notice and scheduling a public hearing to receive public comment before the final budget is adopted, and that hearing would be on June 27th.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay. Brooke, can you call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right. With that, it has passed, and there's nothing else on the agenda. Then we are adjourned, and we will move into the council meeting conducted by Pam Potter at 6:30. So in 1 minute.
It is 6:30 p.m. council meeting. I'm Councilwoman Pam Cotter. I'm welcoming everyone here. Thank you for being in attendance, and also if you are on live stream. We welcome the mayor, GL, and Brooke, and Jennifer. This morning we have the Pledge of Allegiance given by Jim Brass. If you would like to come forward, thank you.
If you would all repeat with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
My microphone's on. Is that what you want? I'm sorry if you cannot hear me. Welcome. I'll say welcome again. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jim, for doing our Pledge of Allegiance. Our first item this evening is the approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, comments, or actions on the minutes to be approved?
No.
Okay, if not, I will take a voice vote.
I move that we approve the council meeting minutes of May 16, 2023.
I'll second.
Okay, everyone say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we have no special recognition this evening. We will go to our citizens' comments. Citizen comments, you may step forward to our podium. You have 3 minutes. Speak into the microphone, state your name, city of residence, and make sure you fill out your required papers that you may get from Jennifer Kennedy, our executive director, and then we'll go forward from there. Any citizen comments?
Hi, my name is Kathleen Stanford. I just want to talk a little bit about the budget and, of course, about the Arlington School. So I'm just wondering about any possibilities that we can save that building. And I know you've already asked for an RFP this week, and they got they were supposed to be in Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember. And I didn't think Orden Yost would accept an RFP from me. But just wondering what possibilities we have. A lot of people criticized us, me and others, when we tried to save the Carnegie Library and the Murray First Ward, saying it was privately owned, it was private property and private property rights. But Arlington School is actually publicly owned. That is really owned by the citizens of Murray, whom you represent. So I just wonder if there's any possibilities that we can try to save that building, since we have no other significant historic buildings that are public buildings in Murray. And you all look like you're just so bored. Anyway, so as far as the budget, I'm wondering if all the RFPs that were submitted, a lot of them could be done on partial land. I know some of them were for like townhouses that you could put on part of the property and just save the school. A lot of people, like on our website, have said they would love to have restaurants or something in that building. We also have some visuals, and I don't know, has anybody looked on our website, on the Historic Murray First website, to see the visuals that we had an architect do? But
I'm not on social media.
It's not on social media. It's on a
You'll
website.
have to give me that website. I don't know it.
It's historicmurrayfirst.org.
Okay.
And there's some visuals there. So we're wondering if you can sell the rest of the property if you want. Parking, I know you are going to maybe buy, so this is a budget issue. If you're going to buy maybe some more property for parking for the Murray Theater, you wouldn't have to buy the new property. You could turn it into a library. I know you already have $5 million saved for a new library. So you wouldn't have to, and you would need to buy property for that. So that Arlington School property is prime real estate, as you know, which is why you want to sell it, but why the citizens of Murray would love to keep that as something in Murray. People have talked about a community center or a library. It would make a great library because it is so centrally located. So if you have $5 million in your budget, you've already budgeted for the next few years to budget for that library. So that's $5 million already. You wouldn't have to buy a new one. You could make it a senior center also and sell the senior center property, make it into a library senior center. Of course, I know Murray City also owns a lot of property. I've been on the website, the county recorder's website, and seen all the different little parcels here and there.
Thank you.
And so just ask you to consider some other possibilities.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Dylan Barney. I've lived in Murray for more years than I would like to remember, and some of them have been good, some of them have not been so good. But I have some sentimental attachments to this building, this school. I attended elementary school here when it was a elementary school, and had some good times, some bad times, but it was all good. I mean, that's in the past. As we all know, things change, life changes. And I was a friend of mine telling me when I don't like changes, she says, there's nothing so constant as change. But yet, I would like to see something productive done with this property to remember this school, whether there's a park out front or something that's done with this building. It would be nice to remember that, the background of this facility. And after the previous meeting that was held here a couple of hours ago, I walked out into the lobby and there was a sign or a plaque that had the name of the architect and various other people associated with the school at that time, and when it was built in 1936. And no, I did not attend it then. So if I had, I probably wouldn't be here. Who knows? But with that said, I would like to thank the current and previous Murray City mayors, council members, and staff for their time and effort that has been put in to these meetings in this particular building. I have been in front of various councils various times over the years, and sometimes we've agreed and sometimes we haven't, but it's all good because that's part of what politics and life is all about, as long as we can disagree without being disagreeable. So with that, I say thank you again, and thank you to the citizens of Murray City for everything they've done to support this city.
Mr. Varney, could you give us your address?
Yes, it is 4902 South Box Elder Street.
Okay, thank you.
And in the next city council meeting we have, I will walk to the council meeting. I won't have to worry about a parking spot. I'll have my own. I can see the building out my kitchen window.
We'll bring your dinner and come eat with us
All
outside.
right. Sounds good. Oh, my time's up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Barney.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rachel Moreau. I'm currently Vice President of the Historic Murray First Foundation. My address is 741 East Arrowhead Lane.
Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you.
I always forget that part, so. I'm glad to be able to be here to make comment in this building for the last time. I thought the last meeting was going to be the last one, and I wasn't able to be here, so. I'm glad it's taking you all longer to move out than you thought it was. But I really appreciated Mr. Barney's comments, and would also like to express appreciation to the city and to the staff for all the hard work that they do. I have appreciated all the listening ears that have been available to me to advocate for historic Murray and particularly this building. And I would love to see this deed restricted so that it can continue to serve the community. I'm grateful that Murray City chose to locate here back in the early 80s and adaptively reuse this building. And I think that it's important that we still have reminders, placemakers of like this building to anchor our city, because with all of the flux and change that's happening everywhere, the increasing rarity of our historic buildings is an important touchstone for people. And it's not even just people that have gone to school here or lived around the building. There's importance in the hopeful permanence of a building that has stood for decades. I think there are creative solutions that can be worked to make sure that this building can continue to serve the community, whatever capacity is decided that is the best for Murray. I think, and I think, I have exhaustively tried to find ways to work with developers, to get them interested, to try to reach every angle that I could to try to make it possible for this to be a feasible thing, for this building to continue to serve Murray. I've tried really hard, our foundation has tried really hard, not just to complain, but to bring solutions. And we will continue to do that. And we do appreciate you listening to us. We would also appreciate a partnership with Murray in taking action to advocate for and save the remainders that we have left of our history, because they are increasing in their importance with their increasing rarity. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This is our last meeting, Clark. No comment?
One thing that I want to bring up, and it is the last meeting in this building, and I feel like it's an important opportunity to take. Thank you, Pam. I would like the city to re-explore having a citizen power board that allows citizens to be part of that process on an ongoing basis, to be aware of what's happening with our city power, and to be able to lend experience. One thing I've found by talking to a lot of people in Murray is there's a lot of people with great experience working in other cities, working for the state. And I think we could have a pretty knowledgeable board of citizens that could help us keep an eye on a really important asset that we have that controls a lot of funds. And I think it would be really important for citizens to understand. I do believe after the special assessment or whatever they call it that happened recently, or that's going to happen or is happening, that we'll probably see a power increase. And I think it's important for citizens to be involved so that they can help sell that to other citizens, explain why that's happening, help them be in the know. I do feel like I'm gonna try to learn more about why we got rid of the power board in the first place. But at this juncture, I'm recommending that we look at that again as something for citizens to get involved in and help guide the city in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Clark.
My name is Lawrence Horman. And as far as my address, it is where I am standing as I come to advocate for the homeless. And on that note, I'm going to make a suggestion, present a thought that may not be popular with a number of people, but I think it's a reasonable one under the circumstances in looking at it. As this building will be emptied out apparently shortly, and other uses will be sought for it to have purpose. One that first comes to mind to me is a permanent warming and cooling center that can be used in the valley, so that they don't have to continue to look for a new one every single year. Make it a community center with some minor medical facilities that can be used not just by and for the homeless, but for others as well, for the low income. This building has enough room in it to have such space to be used that way. It has a parking lot outside that would be perfect for those who would come and work and those who would have to come and travel other than on foot. It is right across the street from a major connection to the public transit, and has buses running up and down State Street. It is not deep into a residential area. It is not too far into any commercial centers, and it would make a perfect spot for people who would need to use it for that. The people of this valley, the governments, the city and county governments and state governments would no longer have to look every single year for a new temporary place for a heating center during the winter and for a cooling center during the summer. And I think it would be a fantastic idea and way to use it. I know there are plenty who would object, but there is no perfect spot. There is no best place. Of the possibilities, this one seems to me like a very good one, considering all the things that it has to offer as far as location and availability of rooms and such. So that is my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, we will close our citizen comments and we will go on to our consent agenda. Number 1, it is presented by our Mayor Hales. Consider a confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Deborah Crane to the Public Safety Advisory Board for a 3-year term beginning January 2023 to expire January of 2025.
Thank you. Deborah, will you come up? Oh, I thought I saw her here. Deborah Crane, you're not here? You're just hiding back there? You don't want to come? All right. No. Okay, I thought I saw her here, but we'll just go ahead with the appointment with the recommendation. As Pam has already read it, I'll just kind of read it again, that we're asking for a consent, confirmation for Deborah Crane to continue serving, so she's already been serving, on our Public Safety Advisory Board for the term that Pam mentioned, beginning 2023 and expire 2025. So we will turn that over to the council.
Okay, thank you. I would entertain a motion on a consideration confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Deborah Crane to the Public Safety Advisory Board for a 3-year term beginning January 2023 to expire January 2025.
I will move to motion and the consideration and confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Deborah Crane to the Public Safety Advisory Board for a 3-year term beginning January 2023 to expire January 2025.
I have a first. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a first by Councilwoman Dominguez and Councilmember Markham on considering a confirmation of the mayor's reappointment of Deborah Crane to the Public Safety Advisory Board for a 3-year term beginning January 2023 to expire January 2025. Brooke, would you do a roll call? Thank you.
Aye.
Mr. Hurricane.
Aye.
It should be.
Mr. Markham.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we would just like to thank Deborah Crane for her services for the Safety Advisory Board. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we are now going into public hearings. Our first one is on the city's tentative budget as amended for fiscal year 2023 through 2024. Brenda Moore is presenting. Oh, there she is. You are hiding. Brenda Moore will be presenting.
Okay, so with the move and everything, I did a whole new slide presentation. Now, I changed the cover, okay? So this is the same one that we did last time. I'll go through it relatively quickly. So Gary, if you want to see it, it's in your packet on the minutes from last time.
Yep.
So first, the budget highlights. The budget total, in case you're wondering, all funds combined is $155 million of expenses. The general fund is balanced, no use of reserves. Does include a 5% property tax increase, which is approximately $23 on a $565,000 home. Employees will get a 4% cost of living. The STEP program is funded. We did have a health insurance increase of only 1%, a dental decrease, and the premiums, the 8515 will stay the same. The budget includes, these are the important ones, 8 new full-time employees, 2 police officers, a paramedic firefighter, a museum curator, that's a part-time position going to a full-time, an SSOD inspector, an inspector 3, a mechanic, and an apprentice line worker. 25 positions all positions in the city are evaluated every year to see where we compare with the market rates of other cities and if we're comparable to the private sector employees. 25 positions were found to be outside of 5%. They were more than 5% below market. So we brought everybody up to 5% of market. So we didn't bring everybody up to market or above market. We brought them up to within 5%. The fund summary, this is just it's a lot of numbers on there. Some funds are gaining fund balance, some are losing them. Most of the ones that are losing fund balance, it's due to capital projects. And we'll just kind of go through them really quick. The special revenue funds are the library fund. It's increasing its reserves as they continue to save for a library, and they are going to remodel their ancient bathrooms, even though we are saving for a library, because that could be many years down the road. The central garage fund is using $58,000 in reserves. The supervisor is going to become the fleet manager so that he can stop wrenching as much as we're going to add an additional mechanic in there so that the fleet supervisor can do what he needs to do in managing the fleet as a whole and not changing oil and doing all that kind of mechanic stuff. He still probably will because that's who he is, but not as often. Retained risk is going to use $200,000 of reserves. This will keep the reserve level at 4 times the current deductible of $350,000. The enterprise funds. The water fund is using $1 million of reserves for capital projects, the largest one being the AMI metering system. The wastewater fund is using $976,000 in reserves. Their charges for services for their revenue has gone up 7% as established with the previous rate increase schedule. And they are funding $1.1 million sewer line replacement project, 58 South to 60th South east of State Street. Doesn't run, that wastewater doesn't run down State Street, it runs behind some of the buildings on State Street. Stormwater fund is increasing their reserves in preparation for future projects. Their charges for services have increased in this budget for the 5th and final increase of their 5-year rate schedule. And their capital projects are the Clover Meadows storm drain and a new storm drain on 5750 South Utah to Sagewood. Those are 2 problem areas that they're trying to fix. Solid waste fund, increasing reserves, $104,000. They're building reserves basically due to the fact we stopped the general fund transfer a couple of years ago. So, and they are going to use those reserves as prices increase to prevent another rate increase for a while. We will be doing a rate study soon, though. Murray Parkway Fund, using $24,000 of reserves. They are receiving $60,000 of support from the general fund and $189,000 for equipment from the CIP fund. They were getting really close to not needing that general fund prop for their operations, and then they were shut down all of February and March, and that pretty much.
January,
And,
February.
well, January, we don't usually count on any, very little revenue in January in a normal year, but March is usually a very busy month. So we're gonna keep doing that until they get a little bit of reserves in there to help them. Power Fund is using $12 million of reserves. 4.8 of that, the operating expenses are $4.8 million more than their revenue. They do have 7.4 million of capital projects done. 4.4 of that is the AMI metering system, and then a transformer, just one for their substation, costs $1.5 million. The rate study is underway. It will be discussed in the next council meeting, most likely. The budget does not include any revenue for a potential rate increase. So if the rates are increased, we will increase their budget, at least their revenue budget. The general fund, this is the one everybody cares about the most because it is funded with property taxes, partially. It is balanced. As I said, there is that 5% property tax increase in here. The property tax increase is paying for 2 police officers, the paramedic firefighter, and a portion of the operating costs of the 2 new parks we took over from the county and the Murray Theater. If we keep adding things that we need to take care of, the only source of revenue for us to increase our revenue besides just inflation is property tax. So that's partially what's funding those new projects. Sales tax, I'm still pretty confident we're going to have a recession and it is going to slow down, although it keeps surprising the heck out of me when it doesn't, or it only slows down 1 month and then it comes back. So it is budgeted at fiscal year 22 less 5%, which will, I think will keep us in a good spot. And personal costs increase 5%, operations decrease 5%, but of course, personnel is a much higher percentage of our expenses than our operations. Just a quickie on where it comes from. The majority of our revenue comes from sales tax. Property tax is next. Transfers in, which we will talk about in the next presentation, and then the other items. Property tax rates, as they were in 2022, I haven't gotten the new ones from the county yet, is 0.001513. We're right in the middle. If we do the 5% property tax increase, we will remain right in the middle. I do know Sandy is proposing a property tax increase, and West Jordan is fluctuating. They haven't decided what they're going to do yet.
Hey, Brenda,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about,
We can't talk about things yet
Oh, it's fine.
until she finishes.
we can ask questions.
Yeah, it's fine.
For the fire and the police here, can you kind of explain why other cities do have those versus
Oh, the fire
us?
and the police
Yeah.
columns. There are some cities who don't, who pay property tax to pay for the fire and the police. They're either in unified, I'm not quite sure exactly which agencies those are. And so in order to make them comparable, because we don't have a separate property tax for fire and police, it's just the city. So Riverton is a famous one. They say they don't have any property tax. The city doesn't charge property tax. But if you look, because of the property tax for fire and police, they're up at number 7. So in order to compare the services being provided, we have to include those 2 columns.
Thank you.
let's see, 24, yeah, right in there. So just for a reminder, our property tax, the way it is set up without a truth in taxation hearing is the city is guaranteed the same amount of revenue every year as the previous year. So that doesn't mean your house property tax is going to stay the same, because your value may have gone up and your neighbor's value may have gone down. The city gets the same revenue amount. So your property tax may go up, theirs may go down, the city gets the same, except for new growth. I don't know what the new growth number is yet. The county has another week to give it to me. So in order to get more revenue, we have to do property tax increase. And this is what the 5% will do on, for a $285,000 house, a 5% property tax increase is $11. The city average, the 2023 average, I did get this number from the Salt Lake County, the average home value in Murray is $520,800. That is actually down $2,500 from last year, which isn't a big change as far as I'm concerned. And so that 5% tax increase will cost a homeowner of the average house $21.67 for the year. Now you have to remember, this is not on your entire $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 bill. This is on the Murray portion, which is much, much smaller. And then businesses, I put the numbers down there, they don't get the residential discount. And so they pay it on their full market value and not on a taxable value, which is 55% of your appraised value of your house.
Brenda? Also, could you let the citizens know that $11.88 is not every month? It's just.
That's for the year.
That is for the year, so you have to divide it by 12 months. Or if you're on a budget plan like I am for 9 months, then you divide it into the 9 months.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look so overwhelming to the citizens, the $11, the $17, and so on and so on.
Yeah, the $21 for the average house is for the year.
Yes, okay.
So expenditures by function, just so you know where your money, this budget is going, police and fire take up the majority, public works, general government, parks and recreation, ComDev, debt is 8% and transfers out is 4%. That's mostly money going over to the capital projects fund in order to, public works actually spends a whole lot more money than 9%. All of their projects are paid for in the CIP fund, and this is just the labor and the people. But the actual projects, contracts, supplies, most of it is paid out of the CIP fund. So they're spending $4.5 million or more on road projects in the CIP fund. So just a quickie on the CIP fund, which is where all of the assets come from. The total projects are $14.4 million. The Murray Armory project, which is going to turn that into an indoor pavilion and meeting space, has been budgeted for $5.5 million. The mansion is getting another $200,000 to become a museum. Fire equipment, $939,000. Police cars, $735,000. 2 new parks that we acquired from the county, we're putting $1 million into them to bring them up to the Murray standards from the county, I think you could call them standards. And then the streets projects are $4.9 million. So we're gonna get a lot of streets rebuilt. The whole complete project list can be found in the budget if you wanna know if it's your street. And so this resolution is to, actually, we've already done that. Got that one on the last one. I forgot to change my page. So it's public hearing on those information, and then anybody have any questions?
Well, we turn it over to the public comments
over to the
first.
public.
So we'll have the public comments, and then we'll go from there. So at this time, if there's any public comments on the tentative budget, please come forward. Make sure you state your name, your address, get a form from Jennifer Kennedy, Okay, it looks like there's no Oh, here we go. You were shy.
It's the glassed over look on all of your faces from the last time. Yeah, I'm wondering if we could not pay that much for all the roads because they don't need to be widened. Our family dog was killed by a car a couple of months ago on Vine Street. So I don't really like the wide roads because they encourage cars to go fast. And I'm also wondering about, I don't think it's an excuse to tear down the Arlington School to build a parking garage. Is that true that Murray City wants to build a parking garage?
I cannot make a comment right now because I haven't seen anything at all. Nothing has come to the council as far as developers. So right now, we as a council, we can't make any comments on that at all.
Okay.
So-
I would not think Murray citizens would want to tear down a historic building for a parking garage. So that bothers me a little bit, if that is going to happen. Thanks.
Thank you.
My name is Dylan Barney. I live at 4902 South Box Elder Street. I'm not sure if it pertains to the Murray City budget, but I didn't see anything there for the redevelopment agency and what money they're spending and what they're spending it on.
You want to go touch that, Mayor or GL? Go ahead.
So that's a separate entity, even though it's the council, it's the RDA, so they'll do that in the RDA meeting. Brenda? 27th, so in I want to say 3 weeks from
Yeah.
today.
Yep,
Okay.
All right, thanks, Dylan.
in the new city hall.
And where's that at?
In the new city hall,
And where's that at?
right across the street. Thank you.
My name's Leanne Parker Reed. I just have a question about the money that we're spending to renovate the 2 new parks that we acquired. What kinds of renovations were you planning on doing for that cost? So, because they're not up to Murray standards, what do they need?
I don't,
I don't care, I think.
well, we can take your comments, your questions. From what I've been told by our Park and Rec Supervisor, Kim Sorensen, Kim, please correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to be working on the pavilions. Riverview Park is just 3 streets south of my house, so I know the pavilion will be worked on, the restrooms will be worked on, the lighting will be worked on because there's very little lighting. The basketball court, which is not being used as a basketball court, will probably be used for something different. The tennis court could be used as maybe a pickleball court, which would be wonderful for our neighborhood. They would love that. Let's see, oh goodness, what else is there over there?
Bathrooms are a big
Yeah,
one.
I said the bathrooms, I said the restrooms, yep. And there could be other things happening over in our parks. I know it's gonna take time and money. I know they are working on grants to help with that, which would be wonderful. So right now, that's what we're looking at as far. Kim, if you have anything to say or add, yeah, come right ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There are really 3 amenities to the park that need to be looked at. Both of them have playgrounds that are outdated and don't meet today's standards. The restrooms, as Pam mentioned, and then the pavilions, amongst other smaller things. And yes, we are applying for a grant, well, several grants that are available and may get outside money to help with that.
I guess I should have stayed out there. One more question. Are you doing?
Oh, can you please come to the microphone? Thank you.
Are you doing any kind of public hearing to get public input on what they would like in their parks?
We have a Parks and Recreation Advisory Board who we're working with. and the public is invited and can attend that meeting. It's the second Tuesday of each month at 5:30 at the Murray Parks and Recreation Office, if you'd like to come and make comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Okay.
Go again. Rachel Moreau, Historic Murray First Foundation, same address. I wanted to publicly thank and commend Murray City for the work they've done in revitalizing and reusing two of the important, well, one more important than the other, the mansion, and having that refurbished so that it can continue to serve the city, and also commendations to Kim Sorensen's department for repurposing the Armory building and giving that a whole new existence, because that is an interesting building, and I don't think a lot of people know what it was or is. We do have on our website a history of a lot of the buildings that have served Murray, and I believe we have or will have a history on that building. So thank you very much, Parks and Rec, for doing that, and the great job you do with other things. Also, we, as the nonprofit advocacy group in Murray for historic preservation, lobbyist, I guess, those candidates that are running for the districts that are up for election, we would like to hear your thoughts on the future of historic preservation in Murray, and I would invite you to reach out to me, and I will give you a business card after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Clark Bullen, District 3. I think
Address?
the 5051 South Treetop Circle.
Thank you.
I think the budget, I want to say that Brenda's department, the finance department, did a great job, and it looks good. And I think that a lot of important detail and consideration was put into it, and I really appreciate that as a citizen of Murray. I'm glad that we're not kicking the can down the road like Sandy, who's proposing a 32% increase. That would not be a thing I'd be a fan of. I'm glad that we're taking care of our staff and giving them the appropriate amount of living wage increase, and making sure that they're well paid, so that they can take care of the citizens of Murray as we take care of them. I'm glad that we're staying fully staffed and appropriately staffed and hiring more people. I think that as we look at that and the additional costs that it brings, that we can think about how we grow in Murray and what types of developments happen. It's my understanding that higher density, very high density buildings take a disproportionate amount of services. That's for example, I believe the Fire Clay area is a heavy user of city services. And as we consider how we want to grow and what type of density we want to put in certain areas, we consider that and the costs that it will bring each year as we need to hire more people to take care. So we do have a lot of available apartments, and that's great for many different people to move into Murray and live here. I believe that we have a good handle on that, and we should consider looking at more medium density projects like the project at RC Willey, like the project over on 53rd, on the corner there of 7th. I believe that's something we need more of in Murray. People need that transitional type of housing when they're ready to move out of an apartment to a first-time home buyer. And I believe, so we should consider that and what it does to the budget. Really quickly, I've heard from a lot of people concerned about being on a fixed income and what that a property tax increase does, because they're not getting any more money, yet they're having to pay more money. And I know that we can't control that, but the county does have a program for deferred payment. And I would love to see the city advertise that, maybe do a mailer to all of its senior citizens to let them know of the availability of that. And then in the advocacy efforts with the city, with the state and county, maybe encourage them to look at lowering the age. Right now it's 75 is the age for the deferred. Retirement age, I think, would make a lot of sense to coincide with being able to defer your property taxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Clark. Thank you. Okay, we are not going to close this public council.
No.
Here, we're not going to close this hearing. Sorry. Yeah, we're not going to close this hearing. We are going to continue this on June 27th in the new building, 2023. So we will continue this at that time on June 27th. Okay, we are going on to our next public hearing. It is to consider an ordinance adopting the transfer of monies from enterprise funds to other city funds. Brenda Moore will be presenting.
Okay, you can thank the Utah State Legislature for this next educational piece, because they were all concerned that we were hiding tax transfer or something, and so we get to do this. And because we are talking about enterprise fund transfers, we also get to discuss the administration and overhead fees. So hold on, let me get... So 2 topics tonight: transfers out and administrative cost allocation. A transfer out is calculated based on a percentage of the enterprise fund revenue. This is just water, wastewater, and power. It's we call it a shareholder return on investment to the general fund to subsidize services that would otherwise require an increase in property taxes. It contributes approximately 8% of the general fund revenue, or $4.35 million. The administrative cost allocation is a calculation based on the percentage of actual administrative services cost. It pays for centralized administrative and professional services, which includes the legislative, which is you, the legal department, finance, IT, and human resource services. Estimated cost to the enterprise funds is $4.3 million. And those are all of the enterprise funds. That includes the library, the stormwater, solid waste, and I think those are the only ones we allocate to. So transfers to the general fund. The definition of a transfer is the movement of cash or other resources from one fund to another. The purpose is in a private sector. Rocky Mountain Power is out there earning money for its shareholders. The Murray Power and the water and the wastewater shareholders are the citizens. And so this is intended to help offset some of the property tax. And so if we didn't do this transfer, and it would require a 38% property tax increase for us to get the same amount of revenue this transfer takes place. And it would shift revenue from all of the ratepayers, which include nonprofits. So it includes IHC, it includes the University Medical Building, it includes Tosh, and other major. A third of the city does not pay property tax in value. So it includes those guys, so it would shift all of that expense paying to just property owners that are for-profit or citizens. So that is basically why we do this. The methodology is it's 8% of the budgeted revenues in water, wastewater, and power. Here's just a quick little chart of how we calculated it. It's not, power does have other revenue that it collects, but it is not subject to the transfer because it's based on power sales to other entities. So we have the water, wastewater, and power fund. It's coming up with $4.1 million. Last year it was 4.17. The water fund is actually sending less money because we reduced their revenue. People have been conserving so well due to the drought that their revenue has actually gone down, which is a good and a bad thing. It's good for the water. It's bad because we don't pay for water, and so we have less money to cover our capital costs. The chart is just the little teeny dark green is the amount of the transfer as compared to all their other expenses. And we've already seen this chart, slightly different color, but the transfers coming in is 8%. The administrative services allocation. And if you guys were here last year, you saw the exact same thing. I changed the numbers. I am not reinventing the wheel. The legislation requires a cost accounting breakdown of how money in the enterprise fund is being used to cover administrative and overhead costs. This is supported, and you're going to say this study is way old. It was 2012. Nothing has really changed since 2012 and how the city is administrating, how the administration is working. It costs a lot of money, $10,000, $20,000 to do one of these studies. They're really complicated. So we have just kind of tweaked it a little as we've gone along, but it's accurate for these purposes. So we allocate out the council, mayor, finance, utility billing, human resources, the attorney, city treasurer, the recorders, IT, GIS, and facilities department was added after that study, and we based it on the number of facilities responsible that they cover in each fund. So our administration costs, if you go all down all those departments, there's $9.8 million. The general fund keeps $5.2 million, and the rest of it is allocated to all of those other funds in those percentages. Power gets the most. They have the most contracts. They have the most accounts. They have the most money coming in, so the treasurer spends the most time on that. It cycles around. That's how they get. And the library has very little, so she's down there at 1.2%. And that's just kind of a chart version of that, so you can see that the general fund keeps most of it, and then some of it goes to all of the others. And that is the required education part, and then public hearing for comments.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I think it explains itself. But we'll open it up to public comments. You have 3 minutes. State your name, address. If anybody has any public comments on this. Okay, looks like we have no public comments. I will close the public comments. And do we, as a council, have any questions for Brenda?
No,
Is
we've talked about this quite a bit.
We have. Gary, are you still here?
Yes, I am. No questions for me.
That's what I figured. I just want to hear your voice now and then. Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I would like to make a motion that the city council adopt the transfer of monies from enterprise funds to other city funds as outlined in the presentation given to us this evening.
I have a first from Council Member Markham. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you. I have a second by Gary, who is in Orange County. Thank you. We will, is there any discussion on the motion? If not, Brooke, will you do a roll call? Yeah, we've already closed the
Oh,
public.
sorry. Okay, yes.
Mr. Higgins.
Aye.
Mr. Huckabee.
Aye.
Mr. Markup.
Yes.
Aye. Thank you. It looks like this has passed, and we will go on to public hearing number 3. Consider a resolution authorizing donations of non-monetary assistance to or waiving fees for local nonprofit entities. We have Jennifer Kennedy presenting. Hello.
So during the last budget year, you guys decided that if people wanted us to donate a non-monetary service such as waive their golf cart fee rentals or have our fire help them out with an event, that we would implement an application process. We have sent those applications out, we have received them back, and before you are the organizations that have requested to have a fee waiver. You've looked through them. I will note the Murray Chamber did get theirs in. It was late, but I've handed it to all of you as well.
Thank you.
So I can answer any questions you have.
Do we need to make a motion for the Murray Chamber, or are we just including it?
We can just include it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I did want to ask the rest of the council. Jennifer had asked me about this in the Murray Chamber because they were outside of the window, but I figured we'd move it forward. I did want to ask the council if we wanted to allow anyone else to submit by the next meeting and just make that publicly known so that we were fair to those others who may have felt like they missed the deadline, that sort of thing.
Jennifer, are you aware, have you had any inquiries at all from
No.
other organizations or anything?
I have not.
Okay. Personally, since there really hasn't been any inquiries or contact, I would prefer to move forward with this rather than.
Yeah.
Okay, that works for me.
Yeah. Okay, I just have one question for Brenda. On your non-monetary assistance and fee waiver application, is $10,000 going to be enough to help those that need assistance with their utility bill?
We had 10,000 in the budget this year. We did do a slight change in that we no longer require individuals to bring paperwork in. If we get a heat check, we match that dollar. If they happen to get a bigger one and some of it got sent to the gas company, they can bring in paperwork and get more money from us because we will match up to the amount that they could get. So we did spend all $10,000. It took us until May. So there's probably been a few that haven't received our little $25, $50, or $100. But overall, it seems to be okay.
Okay. I was just a little concerned because of this last winter and then last summer with the heat and the AC.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably spend more, but since it is other citizens' money going to other
Right.
citizens,
Yep.
10,000 seems like a good amount. And heat does seem to have a summer and a winter, and they're providing a lot of funds, so I think we'll be okay.
Do we ever
Okay.
go over the 10,000, or have we even?
Technically,
during
we're not
COVID?
allowed to go over the 10,000.
Okay. Is that because it's in code or
Yeah, it's
state
because
statute?
that's as much as you have authorized us to give
Oh.
away to other people.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will open this to public comments.
Do we want to go over who the applicants were?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would like to have them read and the amount that they're asking
Yes,
or the
please.
in-kind services.
Sure. So the first one was the utility assistance that was from Murray City. The next one was helping local heroes. They're asking for first aid from our fire department.
And that's for a special event, right?
I
Just,
yeah.
yeah.
Can I just ask something? Is this the one that they do in Sandy, or is this not the one?
Correct.
This is the oh,
Combat challenge.
got it. This is the one that's going to be at our mall or Murray Park. That's right. Thank you. Sorry, I just
You're okay.
clarified.
The Utah Farm Bureau Federation is asking for the use of on-site storage facility, I'm assuming for their farmers market in Murray Park. We have another one from Murray City for $4,000 for scholarships. This one came in because scholarships, we're going to do another application for, sorry,
Hold on.
nonprofit donations. This one really doesn't fit into that because they're not a 501c3, so we're going to go ahead and put them with this group of donations. Primary Children's Hospital is asking for Murray firefighters. I think that's a couple of different events. Is that correct, Joey?
I'm not for sure about that.
Okay. And then the Murray Education Foundation is asking for the waiver of their golf cart fees for their tournament. And the Murray City Library is asking for $4,000 to help for various fee forgiveness programs that the library offers. And the Murray Area Chamber of Commerce is asking for their golf cart rental fees waived. And those are the ones we received.
Okay, Jennifer, I believe the primary children's hospital one is asking for assistance from the fire department for collection of donations. They do that at the Costco, the boot,
Yes,
the
that
boot
is correct.
donation.
Sorry, yeah,
So
that's correct.
that would be the involvement, Jill.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll open this to public comments now. Any public comments, please come forward, state your name, your address, and I think that's it.
Hello, I am Lauren Pasolich. I'm actually here with the Murray Chamber of Commerce. The Commerce address is 5411 Vine Street. I actually live in Sandy, but I support the Murray Chamber, and that's where I do a lot of my business. I appreciate the council considering our application. I apologize for it being late. I do want to just say that as the chamber, generally what our goal is to go out to the business community and support them in their needs, whether through education, networking, or advocating. The golf event that we put on is our ability to bring the business community together and raise money for a greater cause. And this year we have chosen the Spartan Closet. For those of you who are not familiar with that, they help the homeless youth, and they are associated with the Murray High School. And so this, whenever you put on a golf tournament, you start in the red, and then you go beg for money, and once you get in a profit, you can start giving out money to your greater cause. And so by having one less a spot to have to allocate money to, that'll help us with our greater cause of actually supporting the Spartan Closet. So we appreciate the consideration, and we appreciate everything that the city does for the chamber, whether it be ribbon cuttings or educational events that the mayor has attended. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any more comments? Okay, we will close the public comments at this time. I will turn it over back to the council. Do we have any questions or comments or anything?
Just a comment. I'm very happy that we have chosen to handle these in this manner this year. This is the first year we've done this. The mayor's office relinquished this responsibility to us, and I feel very good about the application process and letting the public know just exactly what the city is doing with these non-monetary fee waivers for these organizations.
Okay.
I agree. I think it was very important to us to have that transparency and to know where we're at and what we're doing with those funds. And the other part, I'm sure will be introduced here shortly about any monetary funds as well. And please contact Jennifer directly if you do have any questions about any donations or monetary funds coming from the city.
Can I
Okay.
mention something, Pam?
Oh, sure, go right ahead, Mayor.
We just want to make sure, and we know you appreciate it, but when we started looking at this, just like Phil said, we just thought, this kind of not transparent. We don't know the figures. It's just kind of a thrown number, yes or no, from you guys. And so we appreciate that you're willing to take it on, because look at Jennifer, she gives me a big grin, but it was really important to us, and I thought it was, just like Phil said, to be transparent. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And Jennifer has done the bulk of the legwork on this, and we do really appreciate it. Thanks.
Was that a sincere smile at me, Jennifer? Okay.
Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion on considering a resolution authorizing donations of non-monetary assistance to or waiving fees for local nonprofit entities.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that the City Council approve the non-monetary assistance or fee waivers that have been presented to us this evening.
I have a first from Council Member Markham. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
I have a second from Councilwoman Dominguez. Is there any other discussions or anything else? Gary, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Nothing from me.
Nothing from you? Okay, then we will turn it over to Brooke. Will you do a roll call? Thank you.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye.
Mr. Harakisi.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Thank you. So we are done with the public hearing. We are now on to business item. Number 1 is to consider a resolution approving the mayor's appointment of Mindy Stacy as the city treasurer. Mayor Hales is presenting.
Mayor, before we move
Oh.
forward, no, that's fine, Pam. You didn't know this. I do want to just acknowledge a connection I have with Mindy. She is the granddaughter of one of my cousins. Okay, so and I just spoke about transparency a minute ago, and so just so everyone knows, and if when you hear the vote tonight. If you question anything, I would invite you to look at her qualifications and resume and leave that up to your discretion.
Thanks, Phil. I'm from Magna, so let me tell you, we're all related, so. I mean, and I found out that's happening here in Murray. I had no idea what the connections everyone had here in Murray, so. Even though I've lived here for like 36, 37 years, I'm a transplant, and it's kind of crazy, because anyway, so thank you. And to echo what Phil said, let me tell you, Mindy is one of our finest employees. She worked for Brenda. Now, let me tell you something also. What happens is when you steal an employee from one department, where's Brenda? When you steal an employee from one department as someone, okay, HR did, Brenda's not afraid to steal from another department. She does that quite often, so just department heads beware. Mindy used to work for Brenda in finances and then moved over to Public Works. And she honestly is an amazing employee. So Brenda had talked to me since this is an appointed position, and there was no hesitation when she mentioned Mindy Stacy, because Mindy is one of our, we have phenomenal employees. Mindy's one of them, and is very responsible and really quite seeked out. She's just very, very well respected here at Murray City. So, and she couldn't be here tonight, had family obligations, and so.
I wasn't invited.
That's right. Quick. That means you're not that much related, Phil, so, as you think. That's great. Good one, Phil. Anyway, so without further ado, we're asking the council for approving our appointment of Mindy Stacy as the city treasurer. And we'll leave that in your hands now.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Do we have any discussion on consideration of resolution approving the mayor's appointment of Mindy Stacy as the as the city treasurer?
No, I just want to make, I do intend to vote, and I have vetted that before our esteemed city attorney, and he's given me the okay.
Thank you. Okay, if we have no further discussion, Gary? No comment?
Nothing from me.
Okay, thank you. Then we will do a roll call. Brooke? A motion.
Motion.
Sorry.
I'll make the motion. I move that we consider a resolution approving the mayor's appointment of Mindy Stacy as the city treasurer.
I'll second.
I'll second.
I'll defer to Councilman Harakisi.
Okay, so we have a first by Councilwoman Dominguez and second by Councilman Member Gary. Gosh, too many.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi.
Aye.
Mr. Markham.
Yes.
Ms. Cutter.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And the swearing in will be late. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Pam, for reminding me that. She
That's
is
fine.
going to be sworn in. What day is she being sworn in? Okay, so on the 12th. That's not the 12th of never, Brenda. So that's the 12th coming up. Okay, so this coming Monday, she'll be sworn in. So thanks for reminding me about that.
And could we be can the council know when that happens? So if we would like to.
We will
attend
send
that?
something to Jennifer, and we would love to have you there. It's
Okay.
going to be in my office?
In the new city hall?
Okay, just somewhere in the new city hall, because we don't know where all the rooms are, so we'll make sure that we find the right place. So.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, where are we? Okay. Business item number 3, consider a resolution authorizing the execution of an interlocal cooperation agreement between Murray City School District and Murray City for the. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like, hey, I'm ready to go. Okay, let me back that up. We're on number 2. Consider a resolution approving a public entity resolution authorizing certain employees to access and transact with City Public Treasurer's Investment Fund, PTIF accounts. Brenda Moore presenting. Yes, I remember that one.
So the Public Treasurer's Fund requires that you guys, through a resolution, give Mindy Stacy permission to move money in and out of our account with them. This is like the extreme version of double checking that your whoever's authorizing the ACH is the right person. So that's what we're asking. It actually has to include my name also, because when we take one off, they redo the whole thing. So I am authorized to move money in and out of the PTIF, and so is Mindy Stacy. And I think it might even take both of us to change where it goes to after. They only have one bank account, and it goes into our Zion's account. So that's what this is authorizing us to do. And then if you agree, I will have the mayor sign the form and we can send it in. So she'll be up and ready to go when she's available next week.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on number 2? Consider a resolution approving a public entity resolution authorizing certain employees to access, transact with City Public Treasurer's Investment Fund, PTIF accounts. Anything? Gary? Okay, I guess not.
Nothing for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then I will consider a resolution.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a resolution approving a public entity resolution and authorizing certain employees to access and transact with City Public Treasurer's Investment Fund accounts.
I have a first by Councilmember Markham. Do I have a second?
I will second.
And I have a second by Councilmember Dominguez. Thank you.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi.
Aye.
Mr. Markham.
Yes.
Ms. Cutter.
Aye. Okay, so it looks like it's passed. Thank you. All right, now we are on number 3. Consider a resolution authorizing the execution of an interlocal cooperation agreement between Murray City School District and Murray City for the shared use of Hillcrest Junior High facilities. Mr. Kim Sorensen will be presenting. Welcome. Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Council. So as we talked 2 weeks ago in CLW, this is, we're asking you to approve an interlocal agreement with Murray School Districts for the use of Hillcrest Junior High cultural arts facilities. What this does is it renews an agreement that is expiring, a 10-year agreement that is expiring with some minor changes. The major change to the agreement is that this will be a 5-year agreement rather than a 10-year agreement. Any questions?
I don't.
No, it's, this is another great example of what we're able to do in Murray City when we have control of our own facilities and departments as citizens, the school district,
Yeah.
the city, all of our own departments. This is a great example of the cooperation that we have that other municipalities don't enjoy.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, seeing that, we've had that presentation. Do I have a consideration of authorizing the execution of interlocal cooperation agreement between Murray City School District and Murray City for the shared use of Hillcrest Junior High facilities?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that the City Council approve the interlocal agreement which outlines Murray City's use of Hillcrest Junior High School's auditorium and related facilities for Murray Arts programming.
Thank you. I have a first by Councilmember Markham. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you. I have a second by Councilwoman Dominguez.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi.
Aye.
Mr. Markham.
Yes.
Ms. Cutter.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, so, Mayor, I'm going to turn the time over to you. This is our official last day, and as being a former council member, being in this room for a long time, thank you.
Thank you, Pam. I know, isn't it interesting? Even though up in my office, seriously, I love my office. The new place is beautiful. My office now is bigger, and I love that office, even though I have rain come on top of my head, and I can fill it before anybody else, obviously. But anyways, it's a great building, as Rachel said. It's just got so many memories that are something that I will hold fast for the rest of my life and take with me. This has just been a great experience for me, and I know for all of you. And all of our employees that have worked here. So thank you for that opportunity, Pam.
You're welcome.
Also, just real quick, the Women's Golf League, this is big for Tammy, has 121 participants this year. The Men's Golf League has 402 participants, and this is the highest number since the beginning of the league was formed.
Can you explain what that is? Because I'm not a golfer. What is?
They're leagues, and so they just go and play.
Oh.
And they have teams, tournaments, that kind of stuff.
Oh.
And so it's just been, were you ever a part of? No, Phil.
Yes,
golf guy.
I show up to the Thursday League. Yeah.
So you are on.
Yeah.
You're on it now.
And I want you to know that this increase in enrollment, and that's a direct reflection on the administration over there. The
Yeah,
guys
I
do a
agree.
great job. People want to participate. They make it easy, and they're very welcoming, and you see the result.
Isn't that great? I mean,
Fun space to golf at.
it is, isn't it? I mean, I've gone with you guys before golfing, and I'm not a golfer, and so I can't really call that I'm golfing, but I sure enjoy hanging out with you, and we will be having that again probably in September where we join together with the council.
I just enjoy driving the cart.
That's
so,
right. I
you know.
remember that, Pam. And you scared the heck out of us a few times, but there are currently 84 lifeguards, believe it or not, working for the city, and that is not full staffed. It's tough. We're close, but it's not full. And that's when we changed the age to, is it 15? To 15. And so, because we were absolutely struggling with lifeguards. So really, it's pretty impressive. And speaking of that, you don't want to jinx yourself, but so far it's been a month that the water has held, and I'm telling you, I'm nervous to even say that because Kim came today and said, it looks like it's working. And so it's a nice compliment to the Parks Department, so thank you. Spartan Youth Sports Camps start this week. The library, Kim Fong reported that they'll have their summer reading program, Storytime in the Park, and that started this week. Bruce Turner and Darren Jangard in the Power Department retired on May 31st.
Will there be any kind of?
Bruce didn't want anything,
Okay.
and Darren just wanted a little teeny small thing which the power department did for him, so.
Okay.
Yeah, because I asked the same thing. I was looking for, I thought Bruce had been here forever, but he had chosen not to, so. This is really important. Although the creek levels are down, flooding is still a concern because of potential thunderstorms. And those of you that have been part of Murray, you know that can happen real quickly. And residents wanting to get rid of their sandbags can do so by going to the Murray Park amphitheater parking lot, emptying the bags and putting them in the garbage cans. Now, right now, I talked to Russ Cackle, our Public Works Director, and we've had some requests for for us to pick those up right now. We're asking them to bring them to us if they can now, but we will eventually go through and do that, but not right now because we're not sure with the flooding. But we have a lot of people that are requesting to have them removed, and they can do that if they want, but we're not going to do that just in case. We really have, Russ isn't here, is he? We really have a couple more weeks that it looks great and the temperature looks great. It's really amazing how we had over 900 inches of snow in our mountains, and to think that we have not a little bit of flooding, but not the park's made to flood, and most of you have seen that happen before, and so far that's not happening, but that could change. So, and Russ said to let you know that they are very prepared for this, and he feels confident. So. And then Russ just asked me to mention about the comment, I think it was Kathleen that mentioned about the widening of the streets. He says this funds, none of it will be for the widening of the streets, just for paving, curbs, sidewalks, and things like that. So he just wanted to make sure that that was recorded. So, and other than that, that's my report. And thank you. We appreciate all the council does. We really do. I say that every 2 weeks. And that's not just something I say. We really appreciate it. This is a great council that has been a major asset to helping your funding has been much appreciated, but not just the funding. We appreciate your concerns and those things that you mentioned. So thank you for those things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I interject? Can I just say thank you to you all for this move, and Brooke for coordinating and putting everything together. I know you guys have worked really diligently, and we appreciate it. We know it's been a struggle to get everything there. And I was joking with the mayor earlier about all his stuff being rained on earlier during his move, but it's a beautiful building, and you guys have done a great job. So thank you.
And I would like to thank Gary. Calling in. Gary, are you there? Gary?
I'm here.
Please do not leave to go to the beach yet. We're not done.
I did go in between the committee of the whole and municipal. Sorry, I had to go get some sand.
Well, I'm going to get emotional, but hey, that's me. With this, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
At this time, we will now officially adjourn from the City Hall as of now.